When everything inside me screamed to let go, I found a reason to hold on. A reason I never expected, but one that saved my life. You might be asking yourself, what could be so powerful that it would make someone decide to live again? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to share with you today. This is not just any story. It's a reminder of how close we can come to losing everything, and how a single moment can change everything. Let me take you to the day that changed my life forever. That day when I almost gave up, but instead, I found the strength to live again. Have you ever felt like you were standing at the edge, staring down into the abyss, wondering if there was any point in continuing? I was there once. For months, I had been living in a cloud of doubt and despair. Every day felt like an endless cycle of failure and frustration. Nothing seemed to go right. The things that used to excite me no longer mattered. I was stuck, paralyzed by my own thoughts. I remember one particular evening. It was dark outside, and I sat in my living room, the silence pressing down on me. The weight of my failures felt like an anchor, and I was sinking deeper into it. I had no idea how to pull myself out. It's in these moments of total darkness when we often ask ourselves, what's the point of trying anymore? I asked myself the same question, and for a fleeting moment, I thought about giving up, about walking away from everything. But then, something unexpected happened. It wasn't some grand event or some miracle that happened next. It was something simple, yet profound. It was a conversation. I was talking to a friend who had no idea what I was going through. They didn't know about my struggles or the weight I was carrying. But somehow, in that conversation, they said one thing that struck me to my core. They said, "You've come so far. Don't let one setback define you." It wasn't the words themselves. It was the tone, the belief they had in me. It was as if they were speaking to the version of me that I had forgotten existed. The version that wasn't ready to give up. The version that had dreams and goals. That one sentence shifted my perspective. It was like a small spark in the darkness. But it was enough to get me thinking. Maybe, just maybe, I wasn't as lost as I thought. Maybe, just maybe, I could still turn things around. Sometimes, all we need is a change in perspective. A fresh pair of eyes to remind us that we're not as hopeless as we feel. It's easy to get trapped in our own thoughts, to believe that the current situation defines who we are. But here's the truth. Where you are now does not determine where you can go. It wasn't an overnight transformation, but over time, I began to see things differently. I started to focus on the things I could control. My mindset, my actions, my choices. I realized that every setback was just a setup for a comeback. It's incredible how our minds work, isn't it? One small shift in how we look at our challenges can open up a world of possibilities. I stopped seeing my failures as permanent roadblocks and started seeing them as lessons. Each mistake was a step forward, not backward. If you're going through something similar, remember this. It's okay to fall, but don't let that fall define you. The real power comes when you decide to stand up again. And trust me, standing up is always an option. As much as perspective plays a role in our recovery, it's the actions we take that really make the difference. I could have easily stayed stuck in my thoughts, rethinking my past mistakes and wallowing in self-pity. But I didn't. I made a choice. I decided that I wasn't going to let my past mistakes define my future. I started with small steps. I woke up earlier, set new goals, and began doing things that pushed me outside of my comfort zone. It wasn't easy. In fact, it was often terrifying. But I kept going because I knew that if I didn't, I'd remain in that same dark place. I had to remind myself daily that change wasn't going to happen overnight. But every step I took, no matter how small, was a victory. And those small victories started to add up. If there's one thing I've learned in life, it's this: the smallest step forward is still a step. And that's all you need to begin moving toward a better future. Don't underestimate the power of taking action, no matter how insignificant it may seem at the time. And then came the moment of clarity. The moment when I truly realized that I had made the right choice. I was sitting at my desk one day, working on a project I had been putting off for months, and suddenly, it hit me. I wasn't just doing this for the sake of doing something. I was doing it because I wanted to. I wanted to create something meaningful, something that would make a difference. In that moment, I knew I was on the right path. I had reclaimed my sense of purpose. It wasn't about achieving perfection. It was about moving forward, about doing something that made me feel alive again. This is where you need to stop and think. Are you living in a way that excites you? Or are you merely surviving? If it's the latter, it's time to make a change. Choose life. Choose the journey. Choose to live again. So, if you're feeling lost, stuck, or unsure of what comes next, just remember, you are not alone. It's never too late to start over. No matter how dark things seem, there is always a reason to hold on. And just like me, you can decide to live again. If this story resonated with you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your presence here means more than you know. Together, we can continue spreading stories that heal, empower, and remind everyone that even in darkness, there's always a reason to hold on. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. And remember, keep going. Your story is far from over.